Okay, so let's go through few setup or few deployment models we have in terms of real life when it comes to wireless setup. In terms of the deployment model, we have the centralized controller model, which is more like what AP to wireless controller. So this is also common in the industry. It's something you are going to deal with. So you have a wireless controller, and then you have your APs all over the place. And in addition of this process can support up to 6,000 wireless access point, depending on the model you buy. So this is a physical device. It's a dedicated device which is meant to control all your APs you have on your environment. And you can have multiple of them. You can have two for redundancy, or you can have another wireless controller for remote office. So this is more common for campus network or for large organization. It's one of the things you are going to see in the industry working as a wireless engineer or as a network engineer. So this is one of the deployments. You might be responsible for installing a new wireless controller or installing a new AP. So this is one aspect when it comes to wireless or Wi-Fi deployment models. Then we can also have another model which is a cloud-based. So cloud-based simply means that it's a wireless controller and it can also be placed on the cloud. So the first one we spoke about is not on a virtual machine or it's not on a cloud. But for this one, the wireless controller in this setup exists on a virtual machine rather than what? A physical device. So wireless controllers are physical device. Cloud-based wireless is not. It's going to be on a virtual machine. And for that reason, the lower number of access points that can be controlled in this setup limit the scalability feature of this deployment. And usually this access controller can accommodate up to 3,000 access points as compared to 6,000 when it comes to the centralized or the unified deployment concept. So this is more ideal for medium-sized wireless setup. So you can also have this in the industry. If you need a number of access points to exceed the supported license, then you can have two of them, or you add another one because of the unlimited on-demand capability of cloud technology. So you can have as many as you want based on what we spoke about. And the wireless device communicates to the physical device and forward all data to the network operations center to control the wireless controller. So this is how the deployment is done in terms of wireless. So you have this to be at the data center. You have your APs connecting to your access switches, and then you configure trunk, and then you have all the information going to the cloud or push to the cloud for you to be able to get the necessary information. So there is one common deployment we have. And then we have the embedded wireless deployment, where it's embedded in a switch platform or a hardware called embedded wireless. So it's a model you install on the wireless device. This is more cost effective because the wireless controller and the switch are in the same hardware. So you don't need a separate device. You don't need to have a separate wireless controller, then you have a switch, you have an AP and all those stuff. For this one, everything is in on the switch. So this support up to what, 200 APs in terms of using that way. And most of the 3850 switches have this capability of converting them to be wireless controllers in order to manage your APs. So this can also be in most of the small industry or mid-sized hospital or government office. Then the last one I'll talk about in terms of this will be the Cisco Mobility Express wireless controller deployment, where everything is, so this is virtual wireless controller integrated into the AP. and this support only 100 APs, so that is the limit. It doesn't support the features that a normal wireless controller can support, but for small branch office this might be a right choice. And the wireless is moved on the access layer into the access point level, and the access point software run as a wireless controller. So that is also one of the things you see in the industry. And in terms of what you can get based on the deployment model relating to the maximum APs and the maximum client, this will give you the overview. So with the centralized or the unified wireless controller, you can have it to support maximum of what, 4,000, and this is a physical device. It can connect to your core switch, and the maximum client is 64,000. The cloud-based, like the Meraki process, it will be at the data center. It can be private data center or public data center, and the maximum APs is 3,000 as well. Number of clients is 32,000. These are things you have to know for interviews. Embedded on switch layer or access level is what you have as 200 APs, and then 4,000 clients, which is also not bad in terms of how many clients it will support. So remote office and then small branch office or even mid-level branch office, 200 APs is a lot, and even 100 APs is also a lot. So these are the maximum APs and the maximum client based on the deployment model you deploy. Okay, thank you.